back to the shop. Trying a little something different here on the camera angle tonight. I hope that it catches it well. I also have got everything set up here, as you can see on this side, with the brand new glue up. I didn't do a big video on the glue up. You guys have seen me do this enough times, but I do have it pressed in here with a big MDF disc, a piece of wax paper so it didn't stick to my MDF disc, and then all of my different segments down. So we got Padauk, maple, walnut, and cherry in this one, and then a Padauk, maple, and walnut cherry base with another walnut glue block. I'm going to go ahead and start in from the bottom and just try to get a nice smooth on the outside, see where we can set up to get the steady rest on there before I go to the inside. But again, I'm sorry about the heater noise, but it is 32 degrees outside right now. I just kicked ice out of the dog bowl. So I'm going to hang up my coat, get my face shield on, and we'll get ready to go. Should probably also go ahead and take the time to put a fresh edge on the tools. I'll probably cut this out of the video, but just in case. And with the 180 degree wheel, boom, quick touch up on the edge, just like that. One pass in, one pass out. Usually start in with the 1/2 inch crown, or the 5/8 inch crown first. That's my favorite of all the gouges. I'll use the big robust instead. I see paper off of the bowl gouge. So I did get what feels like a very concentric glue up. It didn't feel rough at all. Look at it, took that edge right off, nice and smooth. Got a little flat spot there still. But I just want to get rid of that wax paper, and I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. And again, we'll take little nibbles at the corners. We're not going to try to do anything super aggressive to start. I'm turning right now at about 800 RPM. See how those cuts are going? Taking off the edge corners first, and then we'll start doing the blending once we get more round where I can pass up to the next one without worrying about bottoming out someplace. It's turning well. Not getting any tear out. Colors are pretty. Yeah, I think we did okay on this one. Let's see if we can take it across the finish line. Where the two rings of the identical size are matching up already, and that's going to be pretty. Should have a little bit of depth there, and then I'll try to swoop the rim in. Since we're already round here, we're going to cut down into the next spot. So I think that'll be really nice shape. When I first sat down to design this one, I was really more thinking about a salad bowl, and I think this might end up being a little too bottom or top heavy for that, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. You can really see the how the Padauk gets everywhere. You still have a couple flats up in here, so we're gonna have to work that rim down a little closer and tighter. Seams look nice and tight though, which is nice. And I might have to work this up instead of further down because I don't want to lose too much of that big rim. There we go. So we got all of the flats out up there, cut into our rim. We'll smooth this out, probably up to a little tire point. Let's see, we like the shape on the end there. But you can see how it all pulls together real nicely. You just got to keep closing up the gaps between the sizes of the rings. For my shape here, what I'm trying to develop, I think I might go ahead and round that all the way in so it's one contiguous swoop, but we might wait till we'll wait till all of our steps are out and then we can really work the shape. Right now we just want round with no steps. See, I still have some flats in here. So it wasn't perfectly centered on that ring, so I got a couple of little flats in there still, and this one's pretty significant. So we did have a little bit of off center on our glue up. Won't impact the project, but that's something to watch out for next time I do a glue up, I guess, to make sure I can get closer and tighter on that. Trying to do now is just make sure trying to get rid of all these little flats. So we still have a ways to go here. Still have a nice tight joint. So I'm pleased with the glue up from that aspect. I may have to pull in further. I don't know if I want to come down into that, but it might be the right way to do it. We'll try from the other end first. All of our flats are gone there. It's going a lot. So we still have one here though. It's our last flat. So now we need to make sure we're rounding down into the bottom of our shape here. little one there. That's it. So wow, that went a lot faster than I was expecting. Cool. Let's tighten up here. Knock it down nice so we'll make sure we get a good spin. Switch over to a smaller gouge now. So we'll be going back to that one. But I want to clean up this base without taking out too much. We have a lot of side grain and end grain down here, which is the only place we have that. Everything else here is all side grain because of the way we did the glue up. But right here we have side grain and end grain, and I need a smooth transition there. Showing us here. Okay, nice transition there. So now we have to decide if we want the foot to be big like this and decorative with a swoop on the top, cutting back down, or do we want to go all the way to a point? We have enough lumber for both. Kind of like that kind of big exaggerated foot, especially since we've got such nice tight lines and everything. Make sure everything else is still has some shaping to do here, which we'll do. We've got a little concave here, a little swoop there, so this all still needs to be taken up. And then from here, we're going to cut into this top ring with a little bit more, lose a little bit of inside diameter, but I think that that'll be a better look. And right now we're pretty good. Touch up this foot. Don't know what that bounce is from. Came in with my flute a little too open on the cut there, but I don't think I got any tear out, pulled out in time. I did right there a little bit, so I'm going to have to touch that up, and that's going to require a small spindle. Might even have to get a carbide out for that one at some point. Seeing if I got that little nick from the catch out. Still right on the edge there, so I'll round that over. See if that took care of that. There we go. So that's gone. So now, keep the side profile. We're a little thinner on this ring from my angle, so I need to sure scrape up to this, and then I might go ahead and cut into this first, see if we can smooth that transition out a little bit better. It's just meat we gotta take away. Get the big boy out. See how the edge is still nice. Still have a nice flare. Could bring that all the way up into the rim up here if we want. What do you think? Take advantage of that, bring it up into the rim, or leave that extra rim as a detail, kind of complement this down here. I think we want to bring it up a little bit into this, just so we can get that transition to be round. I think that would be pretty. I was intentionally shaping, using a shear scrape to shape, get my final shape. So I get a nice smooth transition here, no bumps, and then there. So last set takes our seam up a little bit and rounds this edge over. Still think I want a little bit more round there, but I don't want to bring it all the way up into that. I mean, that's just kind of the way I think it'll look the best. As you can see, most of the shavings we're taking now are just light, fluffy, it's all very dry. It's also very, very dusty, so close your ears. It's so dry right now. We're at 29% humidity, 60 degrees in the shop with the heater on, and the static, you can feel it. So that is almost ready for sanding on the outside here. And you know me, I generally like to get my sanding in first on the outside before I turn it around. Probably go ahead and try to shear scrape the underside of this rim a little bit. And we still have some flats here. We still have some room to take some more material off there as well. So let's go ahead and get that rounded up a little bit more. Now we could come a little further in, but all we really want to do is make sure that we have a round up here. We can always decorate or reconsider that rim at a later time. Got our rim, boy, that's gonna be able to start sanding that at 180. Took a really nice cut. Yeah, there's no sanding on that yet. It's already quite pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get to sanding. I'll go ahead and turn off the video because I know no one wants to watch me sand. But I'm gonna probably sand most of this by hand. I don't think we'll need to do any machine sanding. It feels pretty soft. I don't see any big tool marks in it. Nice smooth curve here. There's zero, literally, there's zero ripple on the side. It feels really nice. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and sand that up and I'll bring you back. We're ready to put some finish on it. Okay, we got her sanded up to 600. Get out our shop grit here. This is our homemade McDaniel style woodworking grit. Again, it's mineral oil, beeswax, F2 pumice, and that's it in this one. And all we'll do is we'll get a nice clean, fresh blue shop towel. Fold it over a few times. Put a little dab on our towel here. Spin it up. Just slow. All we're doing, we don't want it flinging the stuff everywhere. But we do want to get a nice coat on here before we buff it out. After I kind of slather it on a little bit, I usually stop and make sure I didn't miss a spot. I don't have any dry spots. See, we picked up a lot of the sawdust that was still trapped in the wood fibers. So fold that over. I'll look around here. See some down here on the very foot. There's a little slathering here. But all in all, that was about it. Here on the top, because I was hitting that wax paper I left in there. Keep it from sticking to our sanding disc. Okay, now I'm going to just crank her up. Again, we're going to use a clean part of the towel and just work it in. Feel safe with that going about 1,000 RPM. Again, you have to do what you feel safe with. Don't count on me for that kind of stuff. That's all just showing you what I do, not how to. So what I do is I work it in. I can see I'm taking all the sawdust out, plus we're getting a lot of the general polish for this. This is about like polishing up to 1,000 grit. And it's just polish, so you're not adding anything to the wood. The mineral oil will soak in and preserve it. You see how we're pulling off all the sawdust and pulling everything out of the pores. I'll stop about halfway up so you can see the difference between a little buffed out and a little not buffed out. So we're up at the third ring right now. Let's take a look. You can see the difference there. So here we are, polished, not polished. You can see how the light grabs it. We stopped right about here. So you can really see a difference. So this towel's almost dead, but we're going to still just keep on folding because this isn't the polishing part. Got a little here we want to get some in those pores, and we'll keep working it up. I have good pressure with both of the chucks on here. I have the chuck live center on the face of the bowl coming out of the tailstock, and then over here on the live end I got a chuck. So I've got really good holding power now. I can put some pressure on it, really work the polishing compound in. Again, I'm going to work it all the way in until I get a clean towel. See where we're at right now? And, this is just a matter of patience. It's also a matter of style. A lot of people would put a wipe on poly at this point, maybe some Danish oil. But I just want to have nice polished wood. I can see a nice reflection happening in it right now. I'm down to just about a clean towel. Clean towel here. When I get towards that wax paper, it's trapped a few things, so it's gonna dirties me up a bit. I can feel that nice smooth finish. Can't feel any of the seams or ripples. So in terms of prepping for the wax, that would be as far as I would need to go. See, we got a nice look there. Pretty, a lot of chatoyancy. You can see the light just dances around in this Padauk, which I always spell wrong. It's Padauk, I think. I always just go Padauk, but I should know better by now, but the spell checker never catches it. Oh yeah, the walnut's got some pretty, so does the cherry. The maple's probably the only plain Jane, but there's a little bit in there that really kind of catches the light beautifully. That's really pretty. So let's go ahead and grab another clean towel. Oh, I already have one here. So this is the Shine. Again, another recipe I picked up for McDaniel's. Really like this recipe. This is a beeswax and carnauba, mineral oil, and then I added some lemon essence because I feel like it smells better, and it also seems to just soak into the wood and give it a little better shine. So I'm just going to slowly work a little bit of this into the whole bowl here. Hopefully the camera's picking up. You can see how it starts picking up that shine. On my end over here, it's almost starting to look like a mirror. I can see my fingers quite brightly here. Probably read the time on my watch in this one. And I just come down and work that in, just kind of melting it into the wax. Give it a little bit more speed. I like a little bit of heat on this. Put it in there. And you have a nice, perfectly running, secure bowl. You can put a little pressure on it. Don't have to worry about it flying off on you. I'm doing this in real time. I'm not speeding anything up, so you can see this is all the time it takes to get the kind of shine that I like. It's not a lacquer or a varnish shine. It's not going to give you that wipe-on poly look or even a really well-cured Danish oil that's been buffed out. But I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. It's organic. You can still tell it's wood. You're not feeling plastic when you go to touch it. I'm really pleased with that turned out. All right, I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna mount up the, if I can get it to fit, I'm gonna mount up my steady rest up here. Then we're gonna have to remove our little safety belt over here, which is our big sanding disc attached to a chuck, put in a chuck live center. And from there, we should get to move the inside. The inside will take a little longer. I gotta take much smaller passes. I won't have the same stability or the protection of double chucking, squeezed between two pieces like this. And that's always, a little more stressful, so I take much smaller cuts and just kind of take my time. We're going to take this rim in pretty deeply. The rim profile on the outside is not going to 100% follow this. The inside of the bowl will follow this profile to right about here, but from here down to that spot is going to be a nice big dive down, and it should give a very dramatic look. Although I am starting to look at it and go, wow, this is a multicolored funnel. So hopefully this heavy base will still allow us to use it as a serving bowl and put some salad in it. I did use Type-On 3. So it is waterproof, and the beeswax and mineral oil finish is 100% food safe. So I would think that this could end up being a really nice, serving bowl. So, all right, I'll bring you back when we're all set up. Okay, we are all set up. I have right now, it's setting about 550 RPM. I'll go ahead and show you how it's running with the steady rest on. True, get a little vibration up here, you can really feel it, but it's a lot less vibration than if I were to hit that with a tool while it's open, I believe. So let's get out our rest here. Now this is the big robust rest. My other rest, looks like I lent it to a friend of mine who has not returned it yet. So hopefully we can go with this one. This is their comfort or safety rest. Sometimes I really like this for long spindles and stuff, but other times I'm just so used to the flat cast iron rest that sometimes this is more difficult for me to work with. But I know that it's a superior rest from what everyone says, and in reality when I'm actually working with it in most situations, I need to get out there and scrub off the glue and stuff, but I got a nice addressed steel bar on top. So I'm going to start out on this with the smaller gouge. I'll start with the 3/8 inch here, I believe it is. Let's see if it says on it. I can never remember if this is 3/8 or 1/2 inch. I guess I could get out a micrometer and check. But we're going to go ahead and go for it. You also notice I had to remove my dust collection system to fit the steady rest this close in. So I'm not going to be able to run dust collection for this, but you can already got the floor covered, so we'll have to be cleaning up later anyway. So cross your fingers. Let's see how we do. me go fast and risk a catch on anything, and we're coming in from these nice smooth areas to these jagged spots. So the chances of a catch until you get it kind of smooth is pretty good. I got a lot of meat here. Could have done a lot more with the outside shape than I thought I could actually, but I think I'm going to enjoy the shape that we're gonna target here. So we have quite a bit of ways to go. A lot of meat here. We're going to taper this all the way down, basically at a straight angle in. I'm not going to follow the full profile of the outside. Got a little aggressive right there. We'll pull that around. Didn't feel like I was that aggressive right there, but it clearly was. So I'm going to start hitting into this so I can now take one swooping turn down, make it a little smoother. Might actually pull that back with a shear scraping cut after I get the shape right. But we'll start peeling away this next row of rings. Slowly we'll blend these together. I have a lot of material there, so plenty of room to move. Ooh, I love these shavings. It's almost like party confetti. Woo. But like you see what I'm doing, and I'll probably speed a lot of this up for you. There's no point in having to watch every little cut. But I'm slowly working things down, making sure I hit a catch. These two rings, the third, or it'd be the second and third ring going down, are identical sizes. So they have offset joints, which will create 32 bumps instead of the 16 bumps. So once we get into that, it kind of smooths out a little bit, and then we're back down into the 16s as we get further into the piece. But I'll go ahead and keep adjusting my tool rest and trying to stay close to stuff so we have plenty of support off the rest. Keep myself a little bit below center there on the tool rest so I can ride that center line pretty well without getting any catches. Keep at it. Too aggressive. Maintain that kind of tornado swoosh look, but I do not want, obviously, to have a big, giant, chunky bowl. So I have a lot of material still to pull off. I just got to do it, one little pull at a time so we don't end up with any big catches or some tear out that I can't fix later. So now mostly for myself, since I've had so little experience making these. This is a brand new type of craft for me, brand new style anyway. Now I know I can round this down even further to get more of a swoop from this corner up to the rim. But we're through that first hurdle. We're through the very first part, and you can see all of the joints match up nice and beautifully, nice and tight. That'll be really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and take advantage while we still have all the mass down here and the steady rest on to work this down until I get all the way to the next course of rings. Now we're about 3/8 of an inch. So I think that for a big utility bowl, something fancy and colorful like this, I think 3/8 of an inch is about right. So I'm going to pull that down from this corner to this corner now, and then we'll establish that 3/8 on the wall there and just keep moving our way down 3/8 of an inch at a time. Almost there. First two rings are joined now, so 1, 2, 3. We have those two joints are done. Now we just gotta smooth them in and adjust our wall thickness. I'll now come in and pick off just a little bit of the ring below it, so we're always having something to roll into without hurting ourselves or risking a catch. Now I'm just stopping to see how things are looking, making sure our transitions are good. We don't have any gaps. One right there, it's not perfect. Join on the inside. You never know sometimes after you get in, if there was something wobbling or you trap something in there when you're sanding. We still have ways to go here, so that's good. It's good news. Plenty of meat. Our third transition all the way yet. Nope, still a little corner there. Only one little spot, so we're really close getting that transition done. Still chunky. I gotta really thin that out, but once we think smoother, it's easier to get a nice sharp tool in there and take a full pass. So let me start by finishing working this to the next ring, and we'll move on from there. Getting closer. I didn't pull too fast there and put a groove in there. Nope. Still have tool mark right up here we don't have to deal with. Nothing on the inside though. It's looking pretty nice, huh? Okay, now use my calipers here. Is that plenty meat here? And that spot, yeah, we're still in a really good spot. Still in a good spot. Time for a sharpening and kind of reset where my tool rest is here. Get in there all the way to the bottom without hitting anything inside the hole would be nice. I'm going to blow that out real quick. Like Padauk, but boy, it makes a mess. Okay, so you can feel there's a bump here, and we're heading in the right. To run away down there, and this is acting like a megaphone for the sound. See, I left the tool mark there. Or did I? Nope, just haven't made the full turn yet. Tool mark here though. Pretty smooth though, not a lot of bumps or anything in there, but way thicker than we want to be. So we're going to start up here now, as we still have some mass down there, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting my final thickness, and then take our pass all the way to the bottom there. Looks to me like I pulled a good 1/8 inch off all around. It's a 1/4 inch total. And I feel like I can still get some more. So let me take a couple passes here, because I know we can't get back up here afterwards, and I don't want to have to sand out any silliness that I left behind. So let's do that first. Does that make it look a little more dramatic, that with a little steeper rim there? Hopefully, because I can't go back and undo it. So yeah, still gonna have to sand out. This maple here is doing a little bit. Oh, it's actually in the grain. I didn't realize that. Okay, felt like there was a tool mark there, but that's in the grain. That's in the grain. Still gonna have to sand anyway, but okay, now we can come down another 8. I want to get our final wall thickness up here before I hit that bottom, because I can't come back once that thing gets thin, in my opinion. That's nice. Rounding that corner there, you could hear it wanting to grab. But keeping tight. That was a little knot. Okay, got a knot right there. That's what he's catching. A little different approach then. I'll have to come down at a couple of smaller angles so I don't pull that knot apart. Okay, getting close to be able to start pulling this up and get that to blend into our bottom here, which is just a piece of maple, walnut, or excuse me, cherry, maple, cherry, walnut, maple, Padauk. Get a heavier tool. Still gonna have to come back to the smaller, lighter tool, but I need something with a little more meat on it right now to get through that knot. No, we're not all the way into the next ring all the way. We still have a couple of glue lines there to be held out. But you can see now how the bowl's taking shape. Now this is where the base will start to get thicker at the bottom because we want some weight in it if we're going to use it for serving. So we'll have it nice and thin up here, and then we get down to about 20% to the bottom, I'd say. Last two rings in the base, we'll start broadening it out a little bit to give it some weight on the bottom. We still have a ways to go to make it thinner. I could probably get a scraper out to all side grain after everything's smooth. I don't want any of these jagged corners if I'm going to be using a scraper. So that's where we're at right now. We'll have to keep making it to the bottom. Almost. Look at that. So see, we have our glue on the bottom here and a teeny bit of the glue line left in here. And we have plenty of meat to pull that down. And I'll probably still round this up a little bit better. But all of our glue line's still one here. That needs to go. So yeah, so I'd say we're 90% there on the bottom, on the sides, getting that perfectly smooth. The edge is still good, so let's just smooth that out with the shear scrape inside. A lot of heavy lift in there. Yeah. No glue joints, no little, there's one there, probably 10 thousandths, so I want to get rid of that. And then we're going to have to move to the center and come out from our centering point for when we centered all of our rings. This is our dead center. Goes onto my stampa, my plunger that stacks my rings. So we come into the middle of that from the Forstner bit, and we'll do a slight dishing. It's not going to be a full flat bottom, just a slight dish to it though. It doesn't have to be full round bottom, just to clean it up. And I think, no, I'm going to take care of that first. Just really small fine cuts, just trying to get a little haircut there. And there we go. Last of our glue lines are gone. So let's treat it like a normal bowl, I guess. I have no idea at this point. Let's get in there. See where my way high on the tool rest. Keep my tip down. So keep that handle down. I don't want to catch. Let's take some light cuts in there. Real light. See if we can get out to the edge without any hiccups. How much more of that divot I have. Still some there. Okay. Big, sharp, inside bowl scraper. Oh yeah, a little razor edge, a little low. I really want that right on the right dead center of the nub so I can lift under it if I need to. Real delicate here. A little bit of a divot, but now our actual mark is gone, so now we just have to this shoulder to there. That's the whole area now. I know it sounds so simple, but this is like now the stressfulest part probably. And I don't want to get out carbide because it can just be too grabby. Very light one here. I'm going to actually move my tool rest further over. Just don't want to be touching my bowl. Make sure we got a good height on it. Below, as long as I keep that handle up, just be able to get in there and take just that part out. Good shavings. Yeah, those are nice, fluffy curlies. It's smooth, but we still can see the glue line there. So I need to come, and I saw the donut little bump here in the middle. So we need to come from that middle across until we get that out. So I think what I'll do first is eliminate the actual glue line down there. I think that should be our first goal. Let's get rid of that glue line. See if I can get any closer and in there. I'm fighting with all of my, all the angles and everything. See where the tool's gonna rest. Yeah, I think we can now clean that corner up. Still see a dark line. I don't know if that's just the... Nope, see right here? Hopefully you can see in there. Still a little glue diamond right there. And one over on this side. So we're getting very close. And we still have plenty of meat. So it's just a matter of working that out, and then we'll flatten the bottom off. I'm also feeling, no, there's still quite a burr on there. And this is just a really cheap M2 19mm 3/4 inch scraper. It's from Benjamin's Best. It is their M2 series, but it's just a high-speed scraper. So you get about that long of cutting with the nice burr, and then you go back, put another burr on it. We have all but one of the 16 corners is done, and I do want that to be perfect. So I'm going to come back in and take another couple passes, and then I'm going to blend this a little bit better. I can feel a little lump in my hand, but the tornado effect is there. I got the nice swooping round in here and then down. So I'm very pleased with where we're heading so far. Just want to make sure that that is perfect. I have to just stick what's grain and what's glue. I don't know if I want to push my luck any further. I think that's smooth. I don't have any catches. All I have to do is flatten the bottom off. He said enthusiastically, with great trepidation, because my lord, that's always the scariest part. Just have to get rid of that bump in the middle there. So I'll get out a big round nose scraper for that. And again, it's the Hurricane M2. Put a fresh edge on it before we got into the recording here. A little bit low, keep the handle elevated. I should be able to just slowly blend all that in. A lot of little passes, stops, and starts for me to finish this off because I want it to be right. And we get it flat there, but you can see that we have a divot here. We need to blend those in together. And I don't think I can get a small bowl gouge in there to do that. Nor do I think it's probably the smartest move either. Let's switch out to smaller tool rest maybe. And get any closer. No, I can get in there that way. You see from here, okay, I'm in, that's a lot of meat hanging over the edge though. So I think if I keep my handle elevated and take really light passes, we can come from that middle to that spot right there. So when I've chipped a little bit of the red that I'm making it all the way to the edge, I have a pretty ugly tool mark there. Let me see if I'm in there. Could I come across that without a catch is the question. Well, let's see. There's only one way to find out. Right passes. Where did I engage that thing? I get a little little catch right there. So I'm gonna have to scrape that out with the other scraper, but we did get a lot of the flat out, which is really what we're shooting for. So one other rest I have might work. See if we can really get in there and still be flat. I have this old school inside bowl rest that might get us in there. Matter of fact, I don't know why I didn't think of that to start with, huh? Touch it there. Yeah, I'm touching right there. Yeah, just a little. Don't want any touching. Really hard to see. Touching. I think I might be touching just a little bit. Ta-da! I don't know why I didn't think about pulling that out. Haven't used it in so long. Oh yeah, that's got a nice transition. Flatten that bottom out with sanding at this point. Blow that out and see if we have any tool marks. Should we scrape first? Cue sneezing. A little tear out right here from trying to scrape, but it's I can see a little bump here that'll sand out without me getting any catches, and that's kind of my getting to this stage and then worrying about that last catch. We're a little under 3/8, between 3/8 and 1/4 of an inch all the way down, and a little bit heavier on the bottom, which is what I was shooting for, so it would sit when there's something in it being served. I like the thickness of the rim. Yeah, I think it's time to start sanding. So bring it back, we're ready to put some finish on, or flip it around and take off that foot. I think we'll probably put the coal jaws together for that. I could probably just part it off with the parting tool back here and then finish the bottom with something decorative. We'll have a nice big bottom. It's almost 6 inches around at the base, so I think we'll do something really attractive with that. Okay, well, I've got the sanding done and the first coat of the grit. You've seen me do that enough on the inside and outside. So I'm just now putting on the beeswax shine here, and I'm just going to rub that in and then let it set for 20 minutes or so. And I'll come back in and I'll buff that off with a terry cloth at nice high speed, but we'll let it kind of harden up a bit. Now, my skate wheels on the outside, I don't know if you can see that in the image there, but the skate wheels, they rode on there and it left a bit of a mark. It's mostly just sawdust kind of worked in, so I'm going to have to touch that area up, probably with a teeny bit of grit, and then rebuff it out with beeswax. So all I'm doing right now is just pulling my 4 wheels away from the edge here. And then we're going to have to take the foot off, or the bottom off, so we can kind of get the foot nice and purdy. But pretty simple. I could have, should have, could have, would have put a piece of blue tape there where the wheels are riding. Painter's tape's what I've used in the past, and it seems to keep the wheels from getting in there. Let's turn this down low. See if just a little bit of the wax will get all of the sawdust and stuff out of the pores and the tracks here. Yeah, I can see it pulling right out there. I think what I probably should do is get a little bit of the grit. Let's work that out and see what it looks like. Yeah, I got a little bit of Padauk sawdust in my maple, so I'm going to have to get some grit here. And then a little bit of grit, run at speed, and we should be get that right out of there. Just going to have to do it from on top, which is never any fun. Padauk sawdust is always a nightmare, but get out of all of the pores. Still a little bit over here. I don't want to get more Padauk sawdust in there. My dog's happy that I'm back out in the shop, as you can tell. Just a little bit of the grit, find just right where the Padauk got inside the grain there, and I can rub it right out. Really doesn't matter in the Padauk itself, even the walnut, you never pick it up, but in the maple, man, you can really see it if a little Padauk sawdust gets in there in the open pores. So I just kind of rub that out. A little bit of speed. Now I don't have the wheels on, so I have to be very careful that I'm not going to stress out my little buddy here. All right, I should have gotten it all out of there. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, we'll come back when this is ready to be buffed off, and I'll go get a clean terry. Might even get the linen mop out, put it on the end of the drill just because the angles and stuff, so we can really work that out. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and clean up, put this stuff away. I'll see you in about 20 minutes. Or with the miracle of editing, I'll see you right now, probably, actually. Just buffing it out with a nice, clean, fresh terry here. Since I don't have my steady wrist, I'm kind of running slow. I'm just keeping my hands on it, making sure everything is doing what we want it to do and expect it to do. It's all cleaned off there with the beeswax, and that's what we got. Not too bad. Okay, I guess I'll set up and we'll figure out how to get that glue block off. I got it mounted up on the Longworth right now, but boy, look at this. How is that for lucky? My tenon was about to break free and we locked out. So I'm really happy with how the finish turned out on it. Shape is not exactly what I had in mind, but I'm learning about how to lay these out better. But I'm really happy with how the lineup with the staggered little stepstone whirly-bird kind of look, and I'd say 99% of my joints are really tight. I think that's probably the loosest one right there. So I'm pretty pleased. But I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down on the tripod, and then we'll bring up the tailstock, and I'm going to use a parting tool to pull this off the base. Then I'm going to sand and decorate the base a little bit so it'll be nice and pretty. Put one last coat, we'll take it to the buffing wheel, and it will be ready for the holidays. Okay, I got the camera set back up. Time to move stuff away. I will tell you, I know this is a total first world problem. Woe is me, woe is me. But it would be really nice to have a second chuck to go back and forth. When I'm moving from my big number 5 jaws back to the Longworth, back and forth, especially when you got to move the buttons. I mean, you end up with dozens and dozens and dozens of screws to take in and out. And I know it's just a minor inconvenience, and it's not really that big a deal, but it sure feels like it slows down the process. So of course I'm going to use a live center here because why not? Won't put too much pressure on it. I just want to keep everything together. And we'll spin it up and see what kind of speed we can get here. The Longworth is limited to 1,000 RPM, which I can't imagine needing anyway. Spinning pretty darn true. Can't imagine this being a problem. I'm at 600 RPM. I'm going to put the Wii tool rest on here. It's my little cast iron 5-inch. That was another one from my friends at the turning store. So I'm going to actually loosen this, push my tool rest out of the way so I have room to get my banjo right in there. I don't want to get this far into a project, risk anything not quite coming together right. And I'm going to probably step behind me real quick and sharpen my my little parting tool. I have a narrow parting tool from Robert Sorby, short handle. Wasn't the best purchase. I think I've shown this to you guys before. It's a little HHS. It was overpriced for what it is. I'd rather get the long one with the long handle so I have a little more leverage, especially when we're going into 5.5 inches of walnut. It makes it a little difficult, but I'll probably only go down about 4.5 inches and I'll get out the back saw and just saw that off. This glue block, this is all 4 of the segmented bowls I've made so far. This is my 4th one. I've used the same base that I started with. So I glued up like 3 walnut blocks. One of them ended up, or 3 walnut boards. One of these walnut boards kept losing it. I lost a tenon, so I'm gonna have to put a tenon on this one. And the other one ended up being the bottom of one of my bowls. So now this is probably EOL for this, end of life, and I'll have to clean up, add another tenon, and see if I get maybe one more glue up out of it. But let's put a fresh edge on this real quick. That's all it takes. Put my face mask back on. So when I don't have it, that's when it'll happen, right? I'm going to come in gently in parallel. Careful. Just get the outside of it, you see. So we'll have just a little bit of this to turn off and flatten the bottom. I'm going to saw that off. So I'll get out the back saw. This is a pretty nice back saw for what it was. I think it was only 20 bucks on Amazon. And I'm in year 3 on it. It's really quite nice. I think I actually started my weight loss journey after watching myself on video using a back saw. I went, okay, time to lose some weight, buddy. So I'm actually off 30 pounds now. Whoop, whoop, yeah, you can pat me on the back. I'm pretty proud of that. But all I did is move a little bit more, eat a little bit less, and the rest of it's all history. Feel a million times better. Time in the shop, legs don't hurt as much, back doesn't hurt as much. It's definitely worth the effort to take care of your health, man. Okay, so see, this is probably, I can maybe get one more glue up out of that, but it's gonna be pretty tight. So I'll flatten that out on the disc sander and put another tenon on. It'll be the base for another glue block. So I'll just keep gluing the next piece of wood right onto that. No point in wasting anything, right? So now what I'm gonna do is take a nice sharp bowl gouge and take some very gentle passes. I'll dish the bottom slightly, add a couple of beads and a little, see if I can get my texture tool to work on that. It's face grain and it's a glue up. I haven't tried that before. Worst comes to worst, I end up having to sand a little bit more than I intended to. I put texture on before, not liked it, and just scraped it off with or cut it off with the bowl gouge and start it over. Get right in there. I'll get the, I think the 3/8 crown out. Should have a nice safe hole there. Face shield back on. Taking super small passes because we're kind of a precarious position here. I don't want to risk having my bowl break. Get a hold of it. I like to stop a lot, just check the work, make sure there's nothing creepy happening or weird. So you can see this is where our lip's gonna be, and you can see that I gotta bring that down a bit more. And a small recess so it sits nice and flat. We'll finish taking off this walnut piece here, and that's it. The walnut's all gone. Stop to get out a straight edge. So I'd like to keep that medallion in the middle, so we'll put our signature. I just want to make sure that we clear it on the outside edge. We'll make a little dish in here. I'm seeing that I'm kind of just scooped the wrong direction. watched earlier, you know that we dished to the inside of this, so we don't want to go too thin here. But we just want to make sure we have enough clearance, and then we have enough clearance now. So all I have to do is put a little detail here, see if we can put a cool little spiral pattern there, and that'll kind of determine what the rest of our look's going to be. This is a Ron Brown's Best spiraling tool. I'm going to actually slow it down just a wee bit. I'm going to hold it at an angle, get the wheel spinning. Let's see how that pattern turned out. Yeah, that's nice little detail there. Walnut has a tendency to tear a little bit, but I mean in the flat grain that looks pretty good. Got into the Padauk nice. So now I'm going to go ahead and flatten this out a little bit more. And then we'll put two little detail rings there to make it a little more attractive. Okay, that'll be easy to sand nicely. Little shop-made point tool a la Mike Peace, sorry. Nice detail, and we'll just hand sand this here until it's nice and smooth. Get this outside ring, and then we'll throw some good stuff on there. Most of our rings out there. Once you get down here, small little circles get in all of your sanding. So I always like to stop and just sand with the grain on the bottom like this. I'm lucky we're not having to sand the maple and the Padauk at the same time. That's always a fun look. Go across it with this 80 grit lightly. It'll just kind of give me a crosshatch for when I move to 120. Okay, now I'm going to hit the outside here where it's going to sit on the table. Again, I'm just using Abranet. It sands just as well by hand as it does on a drill handle. I'm going to move to 120. Feels like getting a little. Oh, we're still good. We've got all of our outside edges there. So just have that little spot here in the middle. Just sand that across all the grain this direction and this way. Okay, I'll do that up through 400, take it over and sign it, and we'll see how it looks on the spinner. Oh, there it is. Turned out a little over 12 inches. It's about 7.5 inches tall. And it's made out of Padauk, cherry, walnut, and maple. 16 segments per tower there. It's an interesting shape. Not exactly what I set out for, but as I was turning, I kind of like the way that rim looks. That's the second time I've done that same rim. And it's also the second time I've got a bowl that worked on the inside all the way. So this one's all set up to be actually used for serving. Nice heavy bottom. And put a salad in there and not worry about it tipping over. Walls ended up being just under 3/8 of an inch thick until you get to the bottom, and then they're about 1/2 inch thick with a heavy base that's 7/8 of an inch thick. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, sure appreciate a like, comment, a subscription, and if you know somebody would have enjoyed this, please share it with them. Anyway, until next time, get out there and turn something.